Hello everyone and welcome back to just another tutorial session. And today I want to show you two things to get something from Hexagon right now to Daz Studio, and the other way around from Daz Studio to Hexagon, because in the future I want to show you what I mainly do. This is clothing and accessories and hair and stuff for a figure. So first we're going to get the figure into, first we're going to get stuff from Hexagon to Daz, and then we're going to get a figure from Daz to Hexagon and prepare it for work. Okay, so the scene is rather full and I don't want to put all of this into Hexagon, but I only want to do the table. For that I simply go over at the beginning to my scene tab, and as you can see this is quite full. Yeah, so when you click on something you can see the little bounding box around it, you can see the manipulator around on it. We've went over this before. If I hold shift and I click somewhere in this line, I can basically select multiple pieces. Shift means select between the first and the second, and control means select the ones I click at, and delete means I am going to delete those, as you can see in the upper corner. So I just deleted basically everything but the table. For the table I will also change its position. I want it on a 0 position in my other scene. So what this basically does is the position, the absolute position of this object will be translated into Daz, which is important. This is an important information. This stuff, especially this stuff, yeah, position is important for work in, or for transporting stuff into Daz. Okay, so far so good. There's two ways to do this, and I can show you only one. There is the option of send to Daz Studio. And what this does is it is supposed to open Daz Studio and put the object that I selected in there. You can also use your preference editor. This is under edit and preference editor, to look for your Daz Studio bridge and look for the correct Daz Studio location. And yeah, this is where basically for me this goes wrong, because I have multiple Daz's installed, and this just makes my bridge fail. But I usually use another way anyway. Let me just quickly clear this up. I don't use a bridge at all. What I do is I use the export feature. You have a lot of options here. I use wavefront object. Second Life Sculpting is most likely for Second Life. The other things are for special programs that I don't use, so I usually make a wavefront object from this. See my yeah, save it in any folder you want. I have the tutorial folder, and I already had this exported once, and then we get, yeah, we want to replace this, and then we get this interesting window popping up, save as. So let's go through all this. So it says file name table.object, okay, table.obj is fine. File type wavefront object, also fine. Export scale factor. This basically says if I export this, how much bigger does it get? And you see that I have saved this, set this to ×10. I actually can't tell you how I originally came to this. This is like, I don't know, 6 years ago, and I for some reason I set this to 10, and I have the import set also to certain specific values, and it works for me, and I can't tell you why. I have no unit of the file, so I don't have units, so this is 10 somethings, 10 units, but yeah. The X and Y and the X's become X, Y, and Z. The UVs get exported, this is important, and everything else I have unchecked, because I haven't looked into this yet. So yeah, this is basically just stuff that I don't know. I haven't looked into this. I mean, you can try out what these do, but I usually don't. I basically just make sure that my UVs get exported and that the scale is the standard to what I have. So I save this, and now I'm going to show you Daz Studio. Thank you very much. I put the Genesis to female in here for scale. So I made a video about the whole what is what in Hexagon, and next time, or when we actually work with Daz, I will do that when we work more intensively in Daz. If you want this now, just tell me and I will do this as a next video, but I don't plan to at this point. Suffice to say, yours will probably be different, and I have no idea how to change all this. Yeah, I tried and I have no clue. Okay, I have Genesis 2 female in here. Okay, to import. File, import. Then look through all your folders until you find the right one. Click on this and say open. Now we get another import option thing, and you can basically just say again, you can basically choose the scale here. You can say, okay, this is from Hexagon, so 1 unit is 1 centimeter. This is imported from Maya, so 1 unit is 1 centimeter. This is from Poser, so 1 unit is 8 feet. Whatever. I have my set to custom, and my scale is 1000%. So again, times 10. So basically mine is times 100 for some reason. I don't know why. I guess I figured this out at the very beginning whenever I started with the whole transporting stuff here and there. But yeah, this is basically how I do it. Have everything checked. X, Y, and Z stay X, Y, and Z. Yeah, and accept. And there we have the table. And yes, our original table is actually that big in comparison to Genesis to female. Let me show you really quickly. If I import my Genesis to female, you can see that my Genesis to female model that I usually work on is exactly the size it is on the other side in this. So yeah, this is why I have my times 10 stuff set up. Okay, so you can then scale this down, so you can say, okay, this is a table and I want it to have, yeah, this. You also have a little, you have different tabs. Surfaces is the UV maps and the textures. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so we got our object in here. Now we actually want to get our object, our figure in this case, from Daz to Hexagon. which is the main part that we're probably going into interest in today. So step 1, we're going to look for figures. We're going to, let's see, do I have another? I have Genesis 2.8. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to take Genesis 8 in this case. So this is Genesis 8 base figure. Make sure you have this selected in the thing, and here we have also again the option to export and the option to send to, and send to Hexagon in theory opens Hexagon, and this will take a while. This will take a long while. Get something to drink, get a snack, watch a film, movie, what I don't. Okay, there we are. Depending on how good your PC is, this can take quite a while, or it can be very fast. No, don't save. Okay. Here it is, and the scene is not as laggy as I imagined it would be. Anyhow, we have Genesis 2.8 and Genesis 2.8 eyelashes. I mean, we can delete the eyelashes, we don't need them mostly, but our figure is has a lot of materials and a lot of shading domains, and we are going to clear that up and give it a single simple texture so that we can actually work with this, because loading this in every time will take memory. So first step is to actually remove all these shading domains from the figure of your choice. I mean, I just use Genesis 8 right now as an example. As you know, I usually work with Genesis 2. That's because when I started with this, Genesis 2 was the figure you got for free, and I started working with this. And later on, when I got next on, where we're going to delete all the materials. Yeah, then when Genesis 3 came along, I already was really ingrained and had a lot of stuff built for Genesis 2, and I didn't want to convert everything, and also the Genesis 2 figures were on sale and cheaper, and in the end this was a monetary decision. Yeah, I'll be honest, I just didn't want to spend a lot of, and I still don't want to spend a lot of money on this. So when you start now, I actually suggest starting with Genesis 8, simply because so you have the same stuff for Genesis 8 than you have for Genesis. No, trust me on this. The T-pose is much easier to work on. The legs are more apart. You have more space to work. The arms are actually down, so you can work easier on different stuff. And for those who've seen my making human model videos, I am trying to do a similar pose like this, because it's just way more comfortable working on this. So yeah, as a general rule, I would suggest Genesis 8 if you start with 3D modeling yourself on a figure. Okay, we're going to give her a new UV map, and we're going to be very simple. She will get a really simple one. For color, I usually suggest giving her one simple color. For example, I think this is the one I usually use for Genesis 2. Yeah, and this is basically it. This is basically the whole thing. We now have a Genesis 8 work ready. So file, save as, get into your original folder, Genesis 8 base, save. Okay, and this is basically the setup we will need for next time. I will work on Genesis 2. in the next video and show you, but you can apply the exact same thing that I will show you to Genesis 8. Only difference is your angles might be a bit different on some parts, but the base idea will be the exact same. So whether you choose to do this on male, whether you choose to do this on female, whether to do it in Genesis 2, 3, 8, whatever, the base steps will be the same. Since I was asked next time, I plan to make a video about making a hairstyle, making hair. If you have any other requests and ideas what you want to see, tell me in the comments. That's it for today. Thanks for watching and see you guys around.